Singer Ari Lennox arrested in Amsterdam after saying she was racially profiled. Hmm. Let's see here. American R&B singer Ari Lennox was arrested in Amsterdam, which is the capital of the Netherlands, Holland, over a racial profiling incident. she, tweet, she tweeted on Monday, November 29. Lennox, who is signed to J. Cole's record label Dreamville, shared on social media that she had a run-in with authorities in the Netherlands. I'm being arrested in Amsterdam for reacting to a woman racially profiling me. She tweeted, F Amsterdam security, they hate black people. The Shea Butter Baby artist, real name Courtney Sinead Salter, also wrote, I just want to go home. I'll never leave my house again. Dutch authorities at Schiphol Airport confirmed to ABC that Lennox was arrested for allegedly disturbing public order in combination with being under the influence of alcohol. Under the influence, huh? That's how they get you. You're under the influence. According to journalists Anastasia Elise Williams, per ABC, Lennox was arrested for also allegedly making threats against airline staff and airport security and was still in custody as of Monday evening. I wonder how are the jails in Holland. Our unit found a woman full of emotions that wouldn't calm down. Police spokesman Robert Van Capel told Reuters that's why she had to be taken into custody. He confirmed that she was being held due to alleged aggressive behavior toward an official and public drunkenness. Van Capel told the outlet it was unclear how long she would be in custody, adding that authorities were still investigating. E-News reached out to reps for Lennox and to Dutch authorities for comment, but hasn't heard back. Lennox performed the song Unloyal with Summer Walker at BET's 2021 Soul Train Awards on Sunday, November 28. Lennox then tweeted that she arrived in Amsterdam at about 9 a.m. local time on November 29th. Maybe she was transferring. You know, that reminds me, I used to work at Kennedy Airport years ago in Cher, the singer Cher. Remember Cher? The one with If I Could Turn Back Time, and I Believe. She was coming through, and she wears lots of jewelry, and this was before 9/11, you know, before all this stuff with the World Trade and stuff. This was when the airlines had their own security, not TSA. There was no TSA in those days. It was just the airline hire people who would do security, and how jewelry was setting off the, you know, the Magnum, that machine that when you walk through, it triggers off if you're wearing jewelry or have stuff like that. And she got upset and she starts to scream and say who she is, you know, that she's Cher. Why she has to go through all this nonsense. Yeah, to remove all the stuff. And you know what? Eventually they just let her go through. They let her go through. Instead of having Cher remove all her jewelry and so forth, they just let her go through with her jewelry. Because they know Cher, a famous person, you know, used to be on TV when I was a teenager. She used to be on with Sonny and Cher show, performing years ago. So she ain't gonna blow up any plane. She just wants to go where she wants to go, and they let her go through and get on the plane. Yeah, But this woman here, I don't know. I've been to Amsterdam before, so I can't really say anything about being racially profiled or so forth. But I went there by train, not by plane. But there are people who do have a certain way. If they see you a person, a black person or what have you, they start looking for things like drugs or so forth. They associate that with black people, even though, you look at some of the people who carry drugs, like in Asia, for example, like that woman on death row, the British woman, the white woman. She's a grandmother. She's on death row in Bali, Indonesia. Yeah, she was bringing in heroin, lots of heroin. And the only reason they haven't killed her is maybe because of her age, and it's like people probably wrote letters and so forth. But in that part of the world, you have like a number of like whites, Australian whites. They usually get caught up in that stuff. Some of them got executed. Yeah, there were like 6 different people from Australia who were executed. You know, so you rarely see like black. The only black people you see in like maybe in that part of the world in Asian, you usually like Nigerians. Like they tend to fool around with stuff like that, like heroin and so forth, and they get caught up with that. But not like really American blacks. I mean, if you're an American black, why the hell would you want to go halfway across the world with drugs when here you can sell your own drugs? I mean, there's a market for drugs here in America, and the way things are now, it's not like it used to be. We had some tough laws on drugs, like sentences, like the Rockefeller drug laws. But now people realize that that's been doing so much damage to society, so they have cut back on that. So, like where I live in New York State, like marijuana, they decriminalized a lot of that, and the police had given a lot of people like different records with the stop and frisk kind of stuff. I don't think they really care much about stop and frisk. I think they care more about giving people records, and a lot of people have like marijuana in their pocket. Next thing you know, you get a police record. You see, and if you go to get a job, fill out an application, stuff like that, then that comes back to haunt you. If you want to join the armed forces, like the Navy and so forth, that comes back to haunt you. So that's the way you can call the amount of people, like black people, entering those services, the armed services, by giving people criminal records for things like marijuana. So they begin to realize that this is working against society. And if you can't find a job and have a way to earn a living, chances are you're gonna turn to crime. So I think this is the kind of stereotype, and I don't really know the story with this celebrity, what she's saying about they hate black people, but I think what it is, sometimes people have a certain, and most of these people in security, they're not going to really know who she is. They're not going to recognize her, but they have this built-in like bias that a black person's coming through. They probably have this hidden and so forth. I mean, even me, I was coming I think I was flying Air Canada, and I was flying to New York. I believe it was from Toronto, and they do pre-check, and the lady was checking like everything. I mean, like for what? For heaven's sake, you're flying from Canada. You're flying from Canada to New York. What are you really going to be bringing? That should be just like a breeze. And this woman was checking all this stuff that I have, that I'm carrying on. And to me, it's like this woman was saying, what this woman is saying here. And it's not it's not the Canadians who are doing this. We have people from the United States. We sent up to Canada to do pre-clearance. So see, so when you land in the United States, it's like a domestic flight, So when you get off the plane, you just walk off. So we have our people we send up there, and they doing these are American people working in Canada, and they're doing pre-clearance, and she's like checking and this and that. I mean, what the hell can I be bringing from Toronto, Canada? If you ever been up to Toronto, it's a very cold place. I'm not even sure if you can grow marijuana in Toronto. You need like a hot house or so forth, to grow marijuana, and especially you can't grow heroin in up there. So what are you, unless you have connection with somebody, to bring something in. So to me that is so ridiculous. The way people ingrain in themselves that if you're a black person, you have a certain image that you're gonna be carrying this. Whereas you look around the world and you see like the people who are being executed in Bali are usually like white. Yeah, you see like even in Thailand, you see some people in the Thai prisons who get caught up bringing in drugs are usually like white, and some Asians from Australia. Those are the ones who are carrying drugs. But for some of these people here in this part of the world, they seem to have the wrong message that, yeah, if you're a black person, typically you're probably the one who carrying drugs. That's not true. That's not true at all. There was a British man in a Thai prison, and he was saying that the British government doesn't do anything for him because he was carrying drugs into Thailand. Well, yeah, you know what? When you land in Bangkok, there's a sign right up there in the airport. It tells you those who carrying drugs, that's the death penalty. That says that. I remember that. You go to Thailand and you see that sign up there, right where you're picking up your bags. It mentions death penalty for people bringing in drugs. I mean, how much more of a message can you get? And he was still bringing in this stuff. And the reason he didn't get the death penalty is because he admitted that he was bringing it. See, if you go to trial and you go to trial in Thailand, they're going to find you guilty anyway. That's how it is, because you're going before a judge, not like in America, you take a chance before a jury. So he admitted, so that's why he didn't get the death penalty, and I think he got like life or something. And he was saying that with Americans, if an American get caught with drugs, he said the American government has a different setup with the Thai government. You serve a certain amount of years, maybe like, I don't know, maybe like 10 years, 7 years, and then you get transferred from Thailand back to America, and then you serve time in America. That's the setup they have with Thailand. So he said, you Americans are lucky because you have a system whereby your government looks out for you, unlike the British. He said the British government, they don't give a damn. Well, he used a different word, but I think you understand what I mean. He said they don't care. They don't care about us. And yeah, but that's what happens when you take drugs into like some of these countries. At least in Europe, like in Amsterdam, if you're carrying drugs or what have you, you're not gonna get that kind of penalty. You're not gonna get the death penalty in the Netherlands. You might get some jail time depending, and it has to do with you have to be carrying over a certain amount of drugs to really get jail time in the Netherlands. you know?